Did you know that up to 40% of adults over 60 have vitamin B12 deficiency, even though many of them take B12 supplements every single day? Recent research from leading medical institutions reveals a shocking truth. Most seniors are wasting their money on supplements that their bodies simply cannot absorb. If you are taking vitamin B12 but still feel tired, foggy, dizzy, or experience numbness in your hands and feet, you need to hear this. As a physician who has specialized in geriatric medicine for over 20 years, I have seen hundreds of patients suffering needlessly because nobody told them the right way to take this critical vitamin. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your current approach is not working and what you need to do differently starting today. Comment below what symptoms you are currently experiencing with your B12 supplementation. I will be replying to each one. Here is what happens when vitamin B12 deficiency goes undetected in your body. Your stomach produces less stomach acid as you age, which is absolutely essential for releasing B12 from the food you eat. According to a study from the National Institutes of Health published in 2025, approximately 20% of people over 60 cannot properly absorb B12 from food sources alone. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. Even if you take a B12 supplement, your body might only absorb 2% of it if you are taking the wrong form or at the wrong time. The problem gets worse if you are taking certain medications. Research shows that proton pump inhibitors like omeprazole, which millions of seniors take daily for heartburn, dramatically reduce your body's ability to absorb vitamin B12. A study published in 2023 found that long-term PPI use increases B12 deficiency risk by over 60% in older adults. This creates a silent health crisis. Your blood tests might show normal B12 levels, but your cells are starving for this essential nutrient. The consequences of untreated B12 deficiency are devastating and progressive. Within months, you might notice increasing fatigue and brain fog that you dismiss as normal aging. But it is not normal. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, San Francisco in 2025 found that even B12 levels within the so-called normal range can lead to measurable cognitive decline and white matter damage in the brain. The numbness and tingling in your hands and feet that you might be experiencing right now, that is nerve damage called peripheral neuropathy, and it can become permanent if you do not address the root cause. Memory problems worsen, balance deteriorates, and your risk of falls increases dramatically. Research published in 2024 shows B12 deficiency is an independent risk factor for falls in elderly patients, yet it gets overlooked constantly. Your quality of life slowly erodes, your independence shrinks, and conditions that could have been prevented with proper supplementation become your daily reality. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old retired teacher who came to see me last year. Margaret had been taking a standard cyanocobalamin B12 supplement from her local pharmacy for 3 years. She took it religiously every morning with her coffee and toast, yet she felt progressively worse. The fatigue was relentless. She would wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. Her memory was slipping to the point where she forgot her grandchildren's names during conversations. The scariest part was the numbness creeping up from her toes into her feet and lower legs. She started using a cane because her balance had become so poor. Margaret had seen 2 other doctors who ran blood tests showing her B12 levels were technically within normal range. They told her it was just part of getting older. But when I ran more comprehensive tests measuring active B12 and methylmalonic acid levels, the truth became clear. Her cells were severely deficient despite years of supplementation. Why? She was taking the wrong form of B12 at the wrong time with substances that blocked its absorption. Within 2 weeks of switching to the protocol I am about to share with you, Margaret noticed her energy returning. Within 8 weeks, the numbness began to retreat. At 6 months, she was back to her crossword puzzles, taking daily walks without her cane, and playing with her grandchildren again. She recently told me she feels better at 73 than she did at 70. Comment, numbness, if you have experienced tingling or loss of sensation in your hands or feet. Let me know your age as well. Now, before I reveal the solutions that will actually work, you need to understand what is sabotaging your B12 absorption right now. Most people have no idea they are doing things every single day that make their deficiency worse. Number one mistake is taking B12 with calcium supplements or dairy products. Here is what happens when you combine these. Calcium competes directly with B12 for absorption sites in your intestinal lining. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that taking calcium within 2 hours of B12 supplementation can reduce B12 absorption by up to 35%. Most seniors take calcium for bone health, which is important, but they take it at the exact wrong time. If you are having your B12 supplement with milk or yogurt at breakfast, or taking your calcium pill at the same time, you are essentially flushing your money down the drain. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. This interaction happens even with fortified foods, that cereal fortified with B12 that you are eating with milk. The calcium in the milk is blocking the B12 in the cereal. Your body is not getting what it needs, and you have no idea this quiet sabotage is happening every single morning. Number two mistake is combining B12 with vitamin C supplements. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that high doses of vitamin C taken simultaneously with B12 can actually destroy the B12 molecule in your digestive tract. The oxidation process makes the B12 completely unavailable for absorption. Many seniors take vitamin C for immune support, especially during cold season. That is fine and beneficial, but when you take it with your morning multivitamin that contains B12, you are creating a chemical reaction that eliminates the B12 before your body can use it. This is why spacing your supplements matters enormously. You need at least 2 hours between vitamin C and B12 supplementation. Yet almost nobody knows this, and most multivitamins contain both nutrients together, which creates an ongoing problem that your body cannot overcome no matter how much you supplement. Number three mistake is taking B12 tablets that you swallow whole with food. This might seem like the most convenient method, and it is what most doctors recommend without thinking about the physiology involved. Here is what happens when you swallow a B12 pill whole. It must survive your stomach acid, travel through your intestinal tract, and rely on intrinsic factor for absorption. But here is the hidden disaster. Up to 30% of people over 60 have atrophic gastritis, a condition where stomach lining cells that produce intrinsic factor have deteriorated. Without adequate intrinsic factor, the active absorption mechanism for B12 essentially shuts down. You could take 5,000 micrograms of B12 daily and only absorb a tiny fraction. Even worse, if you take that pill with food, the B12 gets bound up with food proteins and fiber, further reducing the already minimal absorption. Research from Frontiers in Pharmacology published in 2025 confirms that oral B12 supplementation in the presence of food can reduce bioavailability significantly compared to taking it on an empty stomach or using alternative delivery methods. This is why so many seniors complain their B12 supplements do nothing. The delivery method is fundamentally flawed for their physiology. Comment, I am guilty if you have been doing any of these. Don't worry, you are about to learn how to fix it. Number four mistake is taking cheap cyanocobalamin instead of the active forms your body needs. Most drugstore B12 supplements contain cyanocobalamin because it is the least expensive form to manufacture. Your body must convert cyanocobalamin through multiple metabolic steps before it becomes the active forms your cells can use, called methylcobalamin and adenylcobalamin. This conversion process requires adequate liver function and several cofactor nutrients. As you age, this conversion becomes increasingly inefficient. A comprehensive review published in the journal Curis in 2025 analyzed research comparing different B12 forms. The findings were clear. Methylcobalamin is more bioavailable and reaches therapeutic levels faster in elderly patients. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. Cyanocobalamin actually contains a cyanide molecule that your body must detoxify. For most people, this is not dangerous, but it requires energy and resources your body could use elsewhere. Why force your body to convert and detoxify when you can give it the exact form it needs ready to use? The cost difference is minimal, but the effectiveness difference is substantial. Yet 90% of seniors are still taking cyanocobalamin simply because they do not know better options exist. Number 5 mistake is inconsistent timing and inadequate dosing. Many people take B12 whenever they remember, sometimes with breakfast, sometimes at dinner, sometimes skipping days entirely. Research on vitamin B12 absorption shows that consistency and timing significantly impact therapeutic outcomes. Your body has circadian rhythms that affect nutrient absorption. B12 is energizing for many people because it supports mitochondrial energy production. Taking it late in the day can interfere with sleep quality. But here is the hidden disaster. If you take B12 only occasionally or at random times, you never achieve and maintain the therapeutic blood levels needed to reverse deficiency symptoms. Your body needs consistent replenishment. Standard doses recommended on most supplement bottles are far too low for people with absorption issues. The National Institutes of Health acknowledges that people over 50 should consume B12 in supplemental or fortified food form, not just dietary sources. For those with malabsorption issues, doses of 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms daily are often necessary. Yet most supplements contain only 100 to 500 micrograms and recommend taking them only once per week. This creates an ongoing deficiency cycle that never resolves. Before I reveal the number 1 solution that works better than anything else, which of these mistakes surprised you most? Comment below. Now let me share the 5 solutions that will transform your B12 status and your health. I am presenting these in countdown format, building to the most powerful strategy. Number 5 solution is sublingual methylcobalamin taken on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning. Do you know what happens when you place a methylcobalamin tablet under your tongue? The vitamin absorbs directly through the mucous membranes in your mouth, bypassing your entire digestive system. A groundbreaking meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Pharmacology in December 2025 analyzed multiple studies comparing sublingual, oral, and intramuscular B12 supplementation. The results showed sublingual B12 is just as effective as injections for raising blood levels in most patients. This delivery method does not require stomach acid, does not need intrinsic factor, and is not affected by digestive issues. The key benefits include rapid absorption within minutes, direct entry into your bloodstream, no first-pass metabolism through your liver, and effectiveness even with severe malabsorption. Research from the Journal of Clinical Case Reports published in November 2025 confirmed that sublingual and intranasal vitamin B12 offer safe, effective, and patient-friendly alternatives to conventional oral or intramuscular routes. A study involving elderly patients with confirmed B12 deficiency found that sublingual supplementation increased serum B12 levels from an average of 182 to 403 within just 12 weeks. The practical application is simple. Choose a sublingual methylcobalamin tablet of 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms. Place it under your tongue first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Let it dissolve completely without swallowing for at least 90 seconds. Do not eat or drink anything for 30 minutes afterward. This gives your body maximum absorption opportunity. What to expect in your timeline is increased energy often within the first week, improved mental clarity within 2 to 3 weeks, reduction in numbness and tingling within 4 to 8 weeks, and continued improvement in cognitive function over 3 to 6 months. The long-term benefits include maintained healthy nerve function, protected brain health and memory, consistent energy throughout the day, and prevention of irreversible nerve damage. Number 4 solution is strategic spacing of your supplements to eliminate absorption blockers. Here is what happens when you create optimal spacing between nutrients. Each vitamin and mineral gets maximum access to absorption sites without competition or chemical interference. A recent study from 2025 examined nutrient interactions and found that proper spacing can increase total nutrient bioavailability by up to 40%. The key to this strategy is understanding which nutrients help each other and which interfere. Research shows B12 absorption is enhanced when taken alone or with specific cofactors, but dramatically reduced when combined with calcium, vitamin C in high doses, or iron. The mechanism is competitive inhibition at receptor sites in your intestinal lining. Scientific evidence from multiple institutions confirms that B vitamins, including B12, work synergistically with folate and B6, so these can be taken together for enhanced methylation support. But calcium, magnesium and iron need separate timing windows. Practical application for optimal results follows this pattern. Take your B12 sublingual first thing in morning at 7 a.m. on empty stomach. Wait 30 minutes, then have breakfast. Take your calcium supplement with lunch around noon when stomach acid production is highest. Take vitamin C in the afternoon around 3 p.m., at least 2 hours after any B vitamin. Take magnesium in the evening around 8 p.m., which also supports better sleep. This spacing strategy ensures each nutrient has dedicated absorption time without interference. What you can expect is noticeably better results from all your supplements, not just B12. You maximize your investment in health while minimizing waste. Number 3 solution is combining methylcobalamin with essential cofactors for synergistic absorption. Do you know what happens when you take B12 alongside folate, B6 and magnesium? These nutrients work together in methylation pathways that control thousands of biochemical reactions in your body. A comprehensive review published in 2025 in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition examined the interconnected roles of these nutrients. Methylcobalamin requires folate and vitamin B6 as cofactors for proper utilization in your cells. Without adequate folate, B12 cannot complete its metabolic functions efficiently. This is why some people take B12 but still feel deficient. They are missing the supporting nutrients. The key benefits of this combination include enhanced homocysteine metabolism, which protects your heart and brain, improved methylation for DNA repair and neurotransmitter production, better energy production at the cellular mitochondrial level, and optimized nervous system support. Research from traditional medicine practices shows this nutrient synergy has been recognized for decades. Chinese medicine has long emphasized that nutrients work in harmony, not isolation. Modern science now confirms this ancient wisdom. A study from Oregon State University found magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which support B vitamin function. When magnesium is deficient, B vitamin effectiveness drops significantly. Practical application requires choosing a comprehensive approach. Use methylcobalamin 1000 to 2000 micrograms sublingually, methylfolate 400 to 800 micrograms, which is the active form your body can use immediately. Vitamin B6 as pyridoxal 5-phosphate 50 to 100 milligrams, and magnesium glycinate 300 to 400 milligrams. Take the B vitamins together in the morning and magnesium in the evening. What to expect starts with improvements within 2 to 4 weeks as methylation pathways optimize. Early signs include better mood and mental clarity, improved energy that feels more stable throughout the day, better stress resilience and enhanced sleep quality. Long-term benefits include comprehensive nervous system support, cardiovascular protection, cognitive preservation as you age, and reduced inflammation throughout your body. Number 2 solution is eliminating medications and substances that deplete or block B12 absorption. Here is what happens when you continue taking proton pump inhibitors, metformin or excessive alcohol without addressing B12 status. These substances create a pharmaceutical-induced deficiency that no amount of supplementation can overcome if you do not modify your approach. Research published in multiple medical journals, including a 2024 study in the Journal of Internal Medicine, demonstrates that PPI use for more than 2 years dramatically increases B12 deficiency risk in elderly patients. The mechanism is stomach acid suppression. PPIs reduce acid production by up to 90%. Since stomach acid is essential for releasing B12 from food proteins, chronic PPI use essentially guarantees eventual deficiency. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. Even when doctors prescribe PPIs, they rarely mention B12 monitoring or supplementation should accompany long-term use. Metformin, the most commonly prescribed diabetes medication, interferes with B12 absorption through effects on intrinsic factor and calcium-dependent membrane binding in the intestinal wall. Studies show that long-term metformin use can reduce B12 levels by up to 30%. Practical application requires working with your healthcare provider to assess whether you truly need these medications long-term. Many people take PPIs for years when shorter courses or alternative approaches could manage their symptoms. If you must continue these medications, you absolutely need higher dose B12 supplementation, preferably sublingual or injectable forms that bypass the blocked absorption pathways. The timeline for addressing this shows improved B12 status within 6 to 12 weeks when pharmaceutical blockers are removed or circumvented with appropriate supplementation. What to expect includes resolution of deficiency symptoms even while continuing necessary medications. If you use high-dose alternative delivery methods, better overall nutrient status as stomach acid normalizes, if PPI discontinuation is possible, and reduced need for multiple supplements as your natural absorption capacity returns. Before I reveal the number one solution, which one of these strategies are you most excited to try? Comment below. Number one solution is weekly or monthly sublingual or intramuscular methylcobalamin at therapeutic doses combined with daily maintenance. Do you know what happens when you use high-dose loading followed by consistent maintenance? You rapidly replenish depleted tissue stores while preventing future deficiency. A landmark study from the Journal of Irish Medicine published in 2024 compared different routes of B12 administration in deficient patients. The findings revolutionized understanding of optimal supplementation. All routes, including intramuscular, oral, and sublingual, effectively increased B12 levels without significant differences, but the key was adequate dosing and consistency. For severely deficient patients, aggressive repletion is essential. The protocol that produces the best outcomes combines an initial loading phase with ongoing maintenance. Research from Harvard Medical School published in 2025 confirms this approach resolves deficiency symptoms faster and more completely than standard recommendations. The key benefits include rapid symptom reversal, often within days to weeks, complete tissue store replenishment within 3 to 6 months, prevention of recurrence with proper maintenance, and flexibility in delivery methods based on individual preference and absorption capacity. Supporting research shows that weekly high-dose sublingual B12 of 5,000 to 10,000 micrograms or monthly injections of 1,000 micrograms for the first 3 months, followed by weekly or bi-weekly maintenance, produces excellent outcomes. Traditional medical practices have used injection protocols for decades with proven success. Modern sublingual options now provide similar effectiveness with greater convenience. Practical application follows a structured approach. For the first 12 weeks, use sublingual methylcobalamin 5,000 micrograms placed under tongue and held for 2 minutes, taken every 3 days on empty stomach first thing in morning. After 12 weeks, transition to maintenance with sublingual methylcobalamin 2,000 micrograms daily or 5,000 micrograms twice weekly. If symptoms persist or blood markers do not improve, consider monthly methylcobalamin injections of 1,000 micrograms, which can be administered at home or by healthcare provider. Combine with the cofactor support mentioned earlier, especially folate and B6. What to expect in your timeline starts with week 1 to 2, showing increased energy and reduced brain fog as blood levels rise rapidly. Week 4 to 8 brings improvement in numbness, tingling, and balance as nerve function begins restoration. Week 12 to 24 shows continued cognitive improvement, complete resolution of most symptoms, and normalized blood markers. Long-term benefits include maintained optimal B12 status, preventing future deficiency, protected nerve function throughout your body, preserving cognitive function and memory as you age. and consistent energy supporting active independent lifestyle. These solutions are powerful because they work together, not in isolation. Using sublingual methylcobalamin with correct timing, spacing it away from interfering nutrients, adding the right cofactors, removing blocking medications when possible, and following aggressive repletion with steady maintenance removes every major absorption barrier. This approach maximizes uptake and effectiveness, allowing your body to finally receive and use vitamin B12 when absorption is at its peak and interference is minimized. In practice, this looks like a structured daily rhythm. In the morning on an empty stomach, sublingual methylcobalamin is taken with methylfolate and B6, followed by a short wait before eating a nutrient-dense breakfast with protein and healthy fats, while avoiding calcium and vitamin C. Midday is reserved for calcium and vitamin D with a balanced meal when stomach acid supports absorption. Vitamin C is delayed until later in the day, well separated from B vitamins, and magnesium is taken at night to support enzymatic function and sleep without interfering with morning absorption. Medical guidance is essential for certain individuals. People with kidney disease, liver disease, those taking blood thinners, or anyone with a cobalt allergy must be cautious with B12 supplementation. Before starting, baseline blood tests should be done to assess B12 status and related markers, with follow-up testing after 3 months. Positive response is reflected by improved energy, clearer thinking, reduced nerve symptoms, better balance, and improved mood, all signs that the protocol is working. If this information helped you, subscribe to the channel for weekly evidence-based health guidance for seniors. Upcoming content will expose common medications that accelerate aging and why they are more harmful than most people realize. Turn on notifications so you do not miss it, because your health deserves informed and proactive care.